Alan, we've been, I guess, saying to everyone that it feels like it's been a long season, finals is finally here, but for you it must feel like you're only just starting to hit your straps.
Yeah, I mean, the feeling out there is getting better, like in terms of how I'm feeling, physically. And yeah, I feel like the way that we've been playing now, we're just building right into the finals, which is awesome. So we mentioned the other day that, we take our learnings from that competition that we played, but, we draw a line in the sand and we understand that we're coming into a new competition now where it's all of, that mindset of last chances, so you only get a handful of opportunities come finals time, so we just got to make sure that we're good enough to take them. I'm a bit taller than Lawless.
I guess for you, you never want to miss footy, but to not have the tired, weary body at this time of the year, that must be nice and a bit energising to be ready to hit the field.
Yeah, grateful for that too, and I think it's awesome that I got that 6 or so games under my belt coming into the finals, because I knew that it took me a little while to get going and get my groove back. So I had a little reflection yesterday or on the way back from Perth that this time last year I wasn't playing, so and you think back to those emotions that I was feeling, and they're just doing everything I could to be there. Now I've been given the opportunity to be there, so we just got to make sure that the team's humming, which I know that we will be, and that the body will be right, but I know that all the boys are keen to go.
You've come back with a couple of tries under the belt. The new Allan Alaalatoa. Oh, what's going on?
I haven't moved too far for him, just like a metre or so, but I think that part of our game is it's growing, that area of the field, 5 or so metres from the try line. So it's an area where we just want to continue to grow as a forward pack.
You've got a few weary bodies around you in the front row. How are they shaping up, ahead of the game? Do you know who's going to be lining up alongside you?
I think like Vel did an awesome job last week, and you got to feel for Shoppy. He did everything he could to be back for the finals, and he probably knew the risk that he was going to take in doing that, and it's a credit to him and how much he loves his team, so the boys, but especially the front row, we're thinking of him, when we take the field, but we know that guys like Vel, he did an awesome job last week, someone who's probably the hardest worker in the team. He's been a grafter for the last couple of years, so he'd probably look to get an opportunity this weekend, and I know that the boys will be backing him, and we know that he's going to do a job up front and do a really good job for us.
So Shoppy, he's not going to be coming back for finals, is he?
I'm not sure. I think he's going to go get a scan. He's highly unlikely for this weekend, but we just got to get our fingers crossed for whatever's to come post that.
Give you extra motivation, especially with slips as well, to get past this stage so that you can give them a chance to come back in later in the finals?
Yeah, I think for sure. But as a leadership group and as our team, we can't be thinking anything further than this weekend. Highlanders are a strong side, and they showed that over there at home when we played them, over in Dunedin. So, we got to be on our game. And as I said before, it's all about last chances now. You don't get a redo, So we got to make sure that we're pulling on the best performance for this weekend, and then whatever comes with that comes.
It must have been a bit frustrating not to get into the top two, but I think it's the guys' best ever regular season in terms of wins to losses ratio. Does that give you extra confidence going into finals? Yeah, and I think the confidence comes from the manner and how we've been performing. And there's a lot to take from last week, playing away from home, and but also there's plenty of learnings there as well. So I think definitely there's a lot of positives to take from the regular season, but as I said before, we take those with us. That momentum that we've got. But we also got to take it up a level as well.
We've asked this of a few of the boys today and yesterday. Does anything feel different this season? Because you've been here so many times previously. What's going to make this season different?
I think for us, it's just our mindset, which I think we're in a really good place at the moment. And the way that we've been performing, it's definitely something that we can continue to bring into the finals. But we know that like come finals footy, as I said before, like it's like you got to take your chances, and there's sometimes in games where we haven't in the past, and like you won't be able to get your opportunity again if that happens. So I think for us it's learning from the last few years when we've been in this position before in the finals, and the players that have been part of those years in the years before will be bringing the experience to the group for the players who haven't been there before. So it's about us having little conversations and what's important, and I guess there's nothing more important than just doing your job.
Yeah, and second year, like in this position under Bernie as well, do you feel like quite comfortable as the coaching staff and how they're kind of working with you at this time of year?
Yeah, for sure. I think that that relationship is awesome to have now, like understanding what he was like last year and throughout the year, and just working alongside him and this coaching group as well. So yeah, boys are definitely keen.
Now, while you do have a good record at home, I think one of the only finals that you've lost in Canberra might have been against the Highlanders a few years ago now. I think you were playing in that one.
Yeah.
I think there was a try that was a bit iffy, but that's a reminder that you can't take these guys lightly because they have come here and they have won here before.
Yeah, for sure, mate. And that's a great example of why you can't be thinking too far ahead. So we know that the threats that they pose, but also the opportunities that are there. So we just got to make sure that we focus on the things that we can control, which is our preparation this week. And as I said, come finals footy, everything just dials up a little bit, and the intent of training lifts. Expecting that session out there today.
I know you've been asked plenty of times about discipline, and so's Loners and Bernie, but how does that change for this week?
Yeah, I think for us, obviously now with the weight behind the game, it's just so important. But for a playing group, sometimes you're not in control of the ref's decisions, but a lot of the times you are around some of the stuff that we've been penalised for. So again, what I mentioned after the game on the weekend was just our little contact areas, which we can improve because we were falling on the wrong side of the ruck. So we cleaned that up. I think a lot of our penalties then, lessened. So with that discipline, it's just focusing on things that we can control.
Obviously a big week for Australian rugby last week with the Rebel stuff, and you're good mates with quite a few of those guys. Yeah, has that been talked about here? And it obviously, because it does change the landscape in Australian rugby for next year. I don't know, how do you feel about that as a senior guy in Australian rugby?
Yeah, I think those conversations are probably more had within the playing group, and you're feeling for the boys, in the position that they've been put in, obviously losing jobs, we're talking about people's lives, not only the players but the staff, everyone involved in the Rebels. You're mentioning the Melbourne community, the kids that are growing up there who probably aspired to play rugby, there's going to be no rugby in that state now, and those are things that throughout the playing group, that we've spoken about, especially because a lot of the boys are really close to those with those lads. So I'm unsure of what's going to happen around squad sizes and all that stuff. But really hoping that a lot of those players get the opportunity to one, live their dream as a rugby player, but also to provide for their families.
And Loners, can you talk us through have you seen a change in him this year? Obviously losing Whitey, was a big hole. But he stepped up as captain multiple times while you were out playing longer minutes. Can you talk about his evolution this year?
He's been massive, man. He's been massive for us. As you mentioned, he was a captain, when I was out, and he still continued the captaincy when I came back, and that's purely just because the boys respect him so much, and he's been playing well, So the way that he's been leading the group with his language and with his action has been huge for our group, and a lot of the boys always look to him, when we're under pressure or for something to say, because he's just so clear and composed with the messaging that he gives, So he's massive for our group, man, and someone that we're probably going to lean a lot on, heading into the finals.
I don't know whether it's just a general observation, but he looks more serious this year. When you ask him a question, he's not joking around or whatever. I don't know, is that actually what's happened, or is that just something that...
he still jokes around with us. But yeah, like he's clued on, you know, and he's dialed in, you know, every time across the white line. So yeah, maybe that's something that he's you know, working on throughout the year.
Is he ready to make that step into that Wallabies team? He's been so close to it. Like, do you reckon he's ready to make that jump?
I think he is, yeah, and that's just on a personal note. Again, like he doesn't only offer what a great 9 can, but he's just more around, you know, like the leadership. So it's what he delivers in his position has been unreal, but then also what he delivers outside of that with his composed nature and you know, leadership around the group.
Because Wallaby stuff is starting to get a bit of traction. I don't know whether you've spoken to Joe at all, but have you made a decision to push that out of your mind until whatever happens over the next few weeks?
Yeah, I think it's always been, for me, like first and foremost, to be performing for my team here. You know, putting my best performance forward, like throughout my preparation. But when I wear the jersey on the weekend and understand that what comes of that comes, you know. So, but you're also aware that could be on boys' minds as well. So it's something that, as individuals, that we probably get to certain people around that, and just making sure that they got that balance right on where they're putting their focus, and probably share your experience of what I'm trying to do, you know, as a player. But yeah, for sure, that's definitely on people's minds. But to give yourself the opportunity to be in that conversation, you've got to be playing well for your state.